It was a hot June afternoon in 1999 in the state of Missouri in the United States. A man named Ricky McCormick had been missing for a few days without a trace. He was 34 years old, lived in poverty, had never finished high school, and the people who knew him described someone simple, solitary, with no known enemies. When his body was found, it was lying in an open field between the cities of St. Louis and Arnold, more than 100 miles from where he lived. There were no visible signs of violence, no wallet, no ID, no phone. But there were 2 crumpled sheets of paper inside his pants pockets. On those sheets was something that over the next 25 years would challenge the greatest cryptographic minds on the planet. The papers were covered in dense, chaotic, completely unreadable writing. It was not English. It was not any known language. It was a combination of letters, numbers, mathematical symbols, parentheses, brackets, and signs that followed no obvious pattern. Local investigators tried to decode the notes. They failed. The case was referred to the FBI. FBI analysts tried to decode the notes. They failed. In 2011, more than 12 years after Ricky McCormick's death, the FBI did something unusual. They made the documents public and asked the world for help. The statement said that the agency's best cryptographic specialists had exhausted all available resources without result. Anyone in the world who had a lead was invited to come forward. The response was enormous. Mathematicians, linguists, engineers, and cryptography enthusiasts from dozens of countries analyzed the notes. Not one of them managed to decode a single line. But who was Ricky McCormick? That question matters more than it seems. Ricky had difficulty reading and writing in English. His family confirmed that he was practically illiterate. And yet here was someone capable of creating an encryption system that defeated the FBI and the CIA for more than 2 decades. That does not make sense, unless Ricky McCormick was not who he appeared to be. When investigators began to look more closely at his life, disturbing details emerged. Ricky had previously been arrested for attempted sexual abuse of a child. But investigations also suggested he had contacts in more dangerous criminal circles, possible involvement in drug trafficking, and connections to people who preferred not to be identified. There were rumors that he knew something, that he had seen something he was never supposed to see, that the notes were a record of that secret, or a cry for help, or the final words of someone who knew he was going to die. Investigators who spent years studying the notes point to something curious. The code is not random. There are repeated patterns, structures that recur in similar positions, as if there were an internal grammar that has yet to be identified. This suggests that Ricky McCormick used this writing system for years, that he probably had more coded documents somewhere, and that the key to decoding the notes may have disappeared with him. In 2012, the FBI's Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit published a detailed analysis of the case. They described the code as possibly a personal system developed over time, built on a logic that belonged exclusively to Ricky, which means that perhaps no one in the world except him could ever decode it, and he was dead. But the story does not end there. In 2020, an independent researcher named Klaus Schmey announced that he had identified a possible pattern within the notes. He noticed that certain letter sequences might correspond to a simple substitution system, where each symbol represents a phoneme or a syllable. Schmey spent months breaking down the notes, and then something changed. Certain sequences began to produce combinations that resembled English words, fragments, not complete sentences, not clear messages, but pieces of words that felt real, as if the message were beginning to emerge from the chaos. And then the effort stopped. Schmey did not publish the specific results. He did not explain why. He simply stopped talking about the case. Other researchers who tried to pick up where he left off found only silence. That fueled new theories. The most disturbing one suggests that at some point, someone decided it was better that this code never be deciphered, that what is written on those pages is too dangerous to come to light, that Ricky McCormick did not die by accident, that he was silenced, and that the notes were not a personal diary, they were evidence. The original papers are in the FBI archives in Quantico, Virginia. Photographic copies circulate online and can be found to this day. Researchers around the world are still trying to decode those lines, because if someone succeeds, they might discover who killed Ricky McCormick. They might discover what he knew. They might discover why the FBI spent more than 25 years trying to understand what a barely literate man wrote in the days before his death. And they might discover why some of the people who came closest to the answer simply stopped talking. Ricky McCormick's death remains officially unsolved. The notes remain officially undeciphered, and the question remains, what was a man who could barely write trying to say using a code that even the world's greatest cryptographers cannot crack? What did he see? What did he know? And who didn't want you to find out?